Hello and welcome to the Game Room. I'm your host, Kyle Silva, and today we have a special episode talking about girls who code. Hello and welcome to the Game Room. I'm your host, Kyle Silva, and today we have a special episode talking about girls who code. I'd like to welcome my lovely guests, Summer and Amelia. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hi.
So I just want to first ask about your experiences with the computer science classes here at DHS. Like, what have you taken? What has happened in those classes?
Yeah. I started taking the intro class my junior year, and before then I hadn't had much experience. And then after taking that class, I really found a passion for it. So senior year, I took AP Computer Science A, which I'm currently taking, and Programming and Game Development.
Nice.
I just started taking computer science classes here this year. I just finished Programming and Game Development. I really enjoyed it. I think Mr. Giot's a good teacher, and it's really fun to use CodeHS and Unity. I prefer Unity, but they're both very fun to experiment with.
And you are a
Junior
here?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have you two had any, or I guess you already answered this question, but any experience with coding in the past, like anything on your own time?
It's not really coding. I've always liked computers. I did help build a PC tower at one point, so that was fun, like learning about the parts of a computer, but that's really it as far as like outside of school
I see.
goes.
So, going back a bit to elementary, middle school, computer science classes there, how did they differ, I guess, from the high school now, if you can remember that?
Yeah. I started computer science like in middle school. It was very brief, part of our STEAM class. And we used like code.org and learning how to use like maker robots and making games.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, it was basically what Summer said. It was pretty basic. I always found it to be kind of boring because it was the same thing over and over again for 3 years straight, and it wasn't really anything like, I always wanted to know the programming behind video games.
Right.
That's really what I cared about. So when I came to the high school and I took the class, it was like, wow, that's a lot cooler than computer science previously was.
Right. So, you mentioned games. Summer, do you play any?
I do not play any, but I am taking the Programming and Game Development class because I do want to major computer science in college, and so I want to learn all aspects of it and kind of see everything that it has to offer.
All right. So, every yin has its yang, positives, negatives.
Mm-hmm.
Have you two experienced any troubles, like being females, in the computer science scene, in a gaming scene, in anything like that?
I guess just like in computer science classes, a lot of them used to have only a lot of men in them. But I know I went to like an all-girls middle school, so I really got comfortable with just like being a girl in computer science and saw a lot of role models there.
That's very nice.
I haven't really had any struggles with that. I can't really speak to it because most of the people that I interact with are mixed between boys and girls, and they're very open to anything, so I guess I really haven't struggled with that much.
And in the gaming scene, have you experienced any troubles with that?
Yeah, I mean, like, if I'm on, like, Call of Duty and somebody's making comments about me being a girl, I do make them regret it in about 10 seconds after I start playing, but that's really all just, like, people online.
Right. Well, I'm sorry that you have experienced those people.
Yeah.
I'm glad though that the troubles are relatively minor. It really,
Yeah.
really shows that we are advancing.
Yeah.
Like, so, going back to coding, could you tell me a bit about the programs you work with? Like you mentioned Unity and CodeHS. Like what level of code, what programs do you use, like JavaScript? What goes on in those programs?
Yeah, in intro class we mostly use code.org and learning HTML. And now in like the AP level, we're using JavaScript and we use a program called BlueJ, which is really starting from scratch.
Okay.
Yeah. There were a couple things we did in CodeHS where we started from scratch and kind of had to build on it. But we just took previous knowledge that we had learned from lessons prior and applied them to kind of figure out how to code. So it wasn't as hard, it wasn't that much of a struggle because I just retained what was being taught, and then when we built on it, it wasn't as challenging.
Right. So working in Unity, there's always troubles with programs.
Yeah.
Any troubling experiences working with modeling or specific code, anything like that?
I haven't used Unity yet, but I'm excited to see what it's all about.
It's really fun. It's super goofy because you go from CodeHS, which is just basic, like making shapes on the screen, making things move, things like that, to Unity where you have this whole you can make this whole world, and it's crazy because you can program the way the player moves and the way certain objects move, and you can destroy them when they go off the screen, things like that. The simplicity of it, like the starter things, is definitely there, but as you build on it, you get to see how complex computer science really is and what it's really like behind the game. And
Right.
it kind of makes you appreciate the developers of video games more because you're like, man, you struggle with that stuff, I see.
Yeah. Game devs definitely do get trashed on a lot.
I agree.
So you mentioned another program, BlueJ. I actually haven't heard of that one. Could you tell me more about that program and starting from the ground up with code and that?
Yeah, we mostly use it for codes from Project Lead the Way. I know we use that in a lot of courses. We've made programs where the player will put in like numbers and then the program has to try and guess, kind of things like that.
Oh, so you're essentially like playing games with the AI?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll definitely have to check that out on my own time. Thank you, ladies, for coming on. Do you two have any final messages for people in the computer science classes, the teacher, other females in code? Anything you'd like to say? Get it out into the world.
Yeah, I guess just take all the opportunities you can in computer science because you can learn a lot, even if you don't go down that path in your career. There's always so many problem solving and deep thinking skills that are pertinent to all industries.
I would definitely say for anybody who's playing video games, not just like girls, but people in general, anything anybody says online, it's nothing to really worry about. I mean, it's just somebody behind a screen who thinks they can say whatever they want. Stay confident in yourself and just push on.
Right. All right. Thank you both so much for your time and coming on to this episode. Next episode, we are going to have Miss Amelia back with us for talking about the Apex Legends team here at Dartmouth High Esports. She will be accompanied by one of her teammates, Kevin Lemieux. So look forward to that in the future. Subscribe to Dartmouth High TV Media, and I will see you all next time on The Game Room.